Good morning and a very warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live. Yes, after a few weeks of white ball cricket and away games for the Notts boys, they are back on home soil as the county championship returns here to Trent Bridge. Now, this is day one of the county championship Division 2 fixture between Nottinghamshire and Sussex. Now, the toss has taken place at 10:30 with the two captains, and it was Sussex that won that toss, and they have chosen to bowl, potentially looking at the over clouds that are above us today, this morning, and be looking to try and make some inroads into the Notts opening order in a little while. Now, let's just remind you, or let's tell you, of the Nottinghamshire selected 11 for this fixture. OK, they will be making their way out into the middle very shortly. Ben Slater and Hasib Ahmed will be opening the batting for Nottinghamshire. Ben Duckett in at number 3, he's surpassed 1,000 runs for the season so far. And Joe Clark at number 4 with Lyndon James at number 5. Stephen Mullaney, the captain, will be coming in after Lyndon James. Tom Moores, he needs 7 runs to reach 1,000 first-class runs for Notts. And Liam Patterson-White, he's currently 10th in the bowling figures in the county championship. James Patterson, he needs 8 wickets to reach 300 first-class wickets, with Luke Fletcher needing 43 runs to reach 1,000 first-class runs for Notts. And finally, Dane Patterson will make up the 11. That is your Nottinghamshire selected 11 for this fixture against Sussex. OK, so you might have just heard that the bell has been rung. That does mean that there is just under 5 minutes till the start of play, due to get underway at 11 o'clock this morning. Now, let's just remind you, because it has been a while since we've been here at Trent Bridge, of the situation in regards to the runs for the Notts batters. And as I just mentioned in the team read there, Ben Duckett, he leads the way. He's surpassed 1,000 runs. He's on 1,005 runs there. And also Hasib Ahmed, he got his newest high score of 192 in the away fixtures. He's on 813. And what you'll see there is Lyndon James, from the last time we did this graphic a few games ago, 579 runs for there, with Ben Slater on 516. Now, I can see below me that Ben Slater and Hasib Ahmed have made their way out. We are waiting for the umpires. So if we can just quickly take a look at the table, you will see that it's very pleasing from a Notts point of view at the moment, because they are out on top. 175 points so far for Nottinghamshire. Sussex are down there in 7th. But also, you might know, if you take a look at that from a Notts point of view, they lead the way regarding batting points and bowling points as well. Those extra points that they can get, 8 in total over a fixture in the first innings, really do make a difference. And currently, Notts have a 15-point lead over Glamorgan. Right now, as we await the umpires, come on, Mr. Umpires, you're holding everybody up here. Play is due to get underway at 11 o'clock, but I will hand you over to your commentary team for this fixture. That is, of course, Dave Bracegirdle. We've got Grace Ballinger joining us again, and Adrian Harms. It's over to you guys in the commentary box.
Well, hello everybody, very good morning, welcome to Trent Bridge. A little grey, a little gloomy, it has to be said, weather-wise, but county championship cricket, so we're not grey, we're not gloomy, we're very much looking forward to what will be the final match in this current batch of 4-day cricket before everybody goes their separate ways. The two different tournaments through August will be monopolising the cricket grounds up and down the country, but here at Trent Bridge, Division 2 leaders Nottinghamshire welcome Sussex to town. Sussex skippered by a former Notts man. Lovely to catch up again with Chiteshwar Pujara, who's leading Sussex today, and I can tell you Pujara won the toss this morning and asked Notts to bat first. You have a look at the wicket and you can understand why, greenish tinge, but as I've been saying for much of the last decade, very often you'll rack up here on the first day, visiting captains, have a look, think it's green, elect to bowl first, and sometimes sometimes regret it. We'll have to see how Notts go today. Notts are unchanged very quickly. Asiba Mead, Ben Duckett, sorry, I missed Ben Slater off the top of the list there. Ben Slater, Asiba Mead, Ben Duckett, Joe Clark, Lyndon James, Stephen Mullaney the captain, Tom Moores, Liam Patterson-White, and there's no Brett Hutton again as Notts go with the three quicks, James Pattinson, Luke Fletcher and Dane Patterson. That's me. Grace Ballinger will be here. Amazing Grace will be telling us all about her fortunes over the last few days. I think the last time she was actually here in this commentary box, she sat next to me and then went away in the next match and took a fiver. So nice. I'm sure some of that has rubbed off. So Grace very much at the forefront of Team GB, and to my right, a warm welcome to Trent Bridge. An absolute delight to welcome back my old chum, and I mean that in the kindest sense. Welcome back. Lovely to see Adrian Harms.
Lovely to see you as well, Dave. Terrific to be here. Been looking forward to this for weeks, so terrific. And Ollie Robinson is going to open the bowling for Sussex, which is a rare treat. Comes in and bowls to Ben Slater, who plays that to backward point, fielded by Ali Orr. And there is no run. So Ollie Robinson, only his third game of the season. Dave, in the Sussex lineup. 4 changes for Sussex from the side that drew at Lords last week. Tom Alsop is out with a mild concussion sustained at Lords last week. Steve Finn rested. Daniel Ibrahim and Delray Rawlings left out of the 13. And in their place come Finn Hudson-Prentice, who'll bat at number 3. Ollie Robinson, James Coles and Sean Hunt, the left-arm seamer. As Ollie Robinson runs towards us, the 3 slips go down. He's in and bowls to Slater, and Slater just pushes forward a ball of good length, played into the covers, fielded there by Ali Orr, and there is no run.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I've written a team sheet down here on the desk, and we haven't amended it. So Delray Rawlings and Dan Ibrahim are the 2 that missed out.
Yes, and James Coles and Sean Hunt are the 2 that come in.
A lot of changes from the first match of the season when we met back at blustery, windy, chilly Hove. I've never seen Brighton or indeed Hove like that before, Adrian. It was freezing, it was Baltic.
It was. It comes Robinson running in towards us, bowls, and Slater is forward, plays to mid-on. And there is no run, fielded there by Ari Cavalos, who's one of the 2 trialists who Sussex played at Lords last week, the other being Brad Curry, who picked up 6 wickets on his debut. And both of those players have been retained. And Ollie Robinson, as I say, he's only bowled 59 overs, Dave, all season. And you really feel if he's going to work his way back into England contention, he's going to have to bowl a lot of overs here this week.
We're not going to get any grumbles about Notts having 3 different patos in this particular game.
Robinson in and bowls, and Slater is forward, played into the covers. Good tumbling save there by Archie Lenham, and there is no run.
Because I'm already looking at this Sussex side. You've got an Ali, an Ari, an Ollie and an Ollie.
Yeah, in fact 2 Ollies. Ollie Carter,
an Ollie and an Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie Carter keeping wicket. So the slip cordon, I'm just looking down here to see, because Tom Clark's in there at 2nd slip, Ali Orr at 3rd. It's Finn Hudson-Prentice who's in at 1st slip. Sussex all round. I think he'll just play here purely as a batsman, Dave. He's had back problems as Finn. In comes Ollie Robinson in and bowls, and Slater gets the first runs of the day, and it's going to be 4 runs. Beautifully timed as well. Slightly over pitch by Ollie Robinson. And Slater onto that in a fashion, just punched the ball through the covers for 4 runs. Lovely shot.
Can you tell me who's just fielded that? Because Andy Easom has just pointed out, Dave, Sussex seem to have 2 number 6s on the field.
Well, yeah, and that looks to me like James Coles, who's got Ali Orr's jumper on. Let's just make sure that is James Coles. No, it could be. Let's just see who's where. So Alistair Orr is at 3rd slip, Tom Clark is at 2nd, and Finn Hudson-Prentice is at 1st. Pujara is at mid-off, as in comes Ollie Robinson. In and bowls, and let go by Slater outside the off stump, taken by Carter, and there is no run.
There'll be an update for BBC Radio Nottingham in just a second, Adrian, so we'll slide you back in just a second. We've had an opening over here bowled by Ollie Robinson, 4 without loss. Our umpires for this one are Neil Bainton and Paul Baldwin. Our scorers are Roger Marshall and Mr. Irwin. G. Irwin?
Graham
Irwin. Where we just got underway a moment or two ago. In fact, we've had one over bowled, the England Test player Ollie Robinson in the Sussex side for the first time since the early part of the season. His opening over put away for 4 runs by Ben Slater. Knots up and running. Knots are unchanged for this one. The Division 2 leaders have been put into bat by Sussex, and they're 4 without loss after 1 over. And now we've got a young man, Brad Curry, to bowl without any name or number on his shirt.
Yes, that doesn't help, does it?
There's a Hampshire Curry, Adrian.
Yeah, he's the brother of Scott Curry, who plays for Hampshire.
Here is then Brad Curry. Got a number of wickets last week, I fancy, and the first ball that Hamid receives worked onto the leg side. He's up and running, gets a single. Hamid off the back of that astonishing innings at Derby last week. 196 he made in a partnership of 402 with Ben Duckett, and there's been some colossal partnerships around the country in recent times. And must admit, Saturday morning I amused myself watching Sam Northeast rack up the runs for Glamorgan.
And what a cracking win that was for Glamorgan.
It was, you know, the statistician or the statistical part of me wanted them just to go on after lunch and challenge that Lara score, and also the fact that Glamorgan did win. It moves them very close in behind Notts in second place. They've leapfrogged Middlesex, but it would have been nice to have seen that 501 broken. Slater pushes this into the offside, and one of the floppy Sunats out there we think is
yes, that's James Coles at backward point. So I've no idea why he's got Ali Orr's jumper on.
We've got a pitch invader on in the form of one of the ground staff, just bringing some sawdust out there. So Nottinghamshire against Sussex. We'd love you to get in touch at Brace Cricket at
BBC Sussex Sport, or I've got an email address, Dave, which we'll get up and running, which is sussexcricket@bbc.co.uk.
And Grace will be with us from past, and we'll let her do her bits and pieces, her socials, because I can never remember, and I'm sure she'll tell me off.
Yeah, Brad Curry last week, Dave, 6 for 93 on debut at Lords. So that was quite a debut.
That was his first class debut.
It was, yeah, it was.
Terrific stuff.
So he's been playing some second 11 cricket for Sussex and a couple of other counties as well. But Sussex have got such a long list of bowlers have been out injured that both he and Ari Carvelas made their debuts last week, and both of them retained in the side this week.
Here is Curry then. The pile of sawdust that I was expecting to see hasn't materialised. This one's been placed on the leg side. I'm not actually sure what running repairs have been done. Perhaps just a handful or two has been put down there on the crease, but didn't leave an enormous great pile of sawdust as you usually get to see. Hello to sort of all my friends and people that have been kind to say hello over the years down at Sussex. Of course, one of my favourite visiting spots. Very cold though when we went this year. Next delivery on its way, and guided to backward point by Slater. 5 without loss, and a real old shame that the Sussex season hasn't quite materialised as everybody would have hoped. I can remember actually there was a great degree of optimism and confidence when we went down there in early April. Our mutual good friend Bruce was telling me good outside bet for the title this year, Sussex. Do you remember that?
I do. I don't know whether.
Do you remember that, Bruce?
I don't know if he put his money where his mouth was. I'm not sure.
Next delivery on its way, and this is pushed away by Slater. Nice looking shot by the left-hander into the offside. Should be dragged back just inside the rope by the skipper, and they settle for 2, so Notts up to 7 without loss. Pajara normally, or in days of old, you'd find him in the slip cordon,
right?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean he's been fielding in the covers pretty much. I haven't seen him too much in the slip cordon.
Because he's captaining, because our good friend Tom is unavailable.
Yeah, so Tom Haynes broke his hand in the game against Leicestershire down at Hove a couple of weeks ago. Ollie Robinson is the official vice captain, but as I say, he's barely played, and I think I'm sure the ECB directive this week is they want Ollie to bowl and perhaps concentrate on his bowling.
And Pujara did it last week.
Yes.
Next delivery on its way now past the outside edge. I don't think Slater went at it with any great intent. through to the wicket-keeper Ollie Carter. Notts put into bat 7 without loss. Here's Richard Marshall now. He's going to dollop a great sandcastle on this end of the ground. There we are, just to let the Sussex players feel at home with sand all over the place. 7 without loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of Sussex this season, certainly the batting has been a big improvement. They've had 6 players who've reached 3 figures this season. Grant Flower has been working alongside this young batting group. And so that has been a big positive for Sussex. I guess the downside has been, Dave, they haven't been able to bowl sides out. Yeah. And indeed, the game that they did win, the only game against Derbyshire, Derbyshire declared in that match and set Sussex a run chase, which to their credit they chased down. But it's the last time Sussex took 20 wickets in a match to win a game was in Cardiff last April, so 15 months ago now. And in that game, Ollie Robinson took 13 wickets, so maybe that's an omen.
There is the England man from the pavilion end. This one wide of the off stump, goes through to the keeper. Not played international cricket since the winter, as he went to the Caribbean.
Yeah, and
Ollie
didn't
Robinson.
play. Yeah, his last international game was the Test in Hobart, yeah. And he was in that game. He didn't bowl a lot of overs, so that's the last time that he played. So he's had back problems. He's had problems as well around some dental problems as well, Ollie. So it's just good to see him back.
Here he comes, Robinson. Bowls wide of the off stump. Shout of no ball from umpire Bainton towards the scorers, who I was just saying when BBC Radio Nottingham came to me. Roger Marshall and
Graham
Irwin. Yeah. Lovely to have them here. Ian Smith works the big screens here at Trent Bridge.
And I guess the big thing with Ollie Robinson is, Dave, that in his absence, others have stepped in and filled the void. So for the likes of Matthew Potts have seized their opportunity. So Ollie with a bit to do to get himself back in the England reckoning.
Robinson comes in, bowls, and Mead will run this away with the open face. Textbook of Mead just guides it down to the unprotected third man area for 4 runs, and Mead on to 5. Nottinghamshire 13 without loss. There was a long period when Sussex had the wood over Notts. If you go back to those glory years, in fact, Peter Moores was very much in charge as Sussex won back-to-back titles. What was that? 2006, 2007, and then the early part of the last decade. Sussex always seemed to get the better of Notts, but in recent times Notts have won 4 and drawn 1 of the last 5 meetings. Next delivery is pushed into the offside, but certainly Ollie Robinson felt it was pad rather than bat, and umpire Bainton unmoved. Floodlights aren't on, Adrian, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they don't flicker into life. It is very grey overhead.
And you know this ground far better than I, but I would have thought, having won the toss, certainly Cheteshwar Pujara had no hesitation, did he? He said, I think we'll have a bowl first. Maybe took as you said about the wicket being a little green, but that can be misleading. But certainly the overhead suggests that it's a good morning to bowl.
Certainly, yeah. Hamid has 5. Next one he leaves alone with that flourish, and then he executes another one just in case the photographers missed the first one. This is the first meeting at Trent Bridge since 2017. Ricky Vessels made a double hundred in that game. Adam Barton made his Sussex debut.
Wow, that's a good call.
Didn't play too many games, did it?
No, and a game that was over very quickly, Dave.
The last time Sussex won here was in 2014. Mead leaves this alone through into the gloves of Carter. Chris Nash, who of course since then has played for Notts, made 178, and Jake Libby made a debut century for Nottinghamshire in that game.
Wow.
2017 at Hove, of course, was the last draw between the two sides. That was the match in which Chris Reed and Billy Root guided Nottinghamshire to safety with a century apiece. Chris Reed's last match, and Notts last time they were in Division 2 were promoted as a result of that one. Robinson bowls Hasiba Mead, leave alone real error of misjudgment from Asiba Mead. Lovely bit of bowling from Ollie Robinson to just clip off the off bail, with Mead not interested in playing a shot. Just see the replay there now, and definite leave from Mead. That flourish in which he raises the bat almost round 180 degrees and leaves it pointing to the sky did him no favours on that occasion. 196 last week. Mead has gone for 5. Sussex have the early breakthrough. Mead bowled by Robinson for 5 in the 3rd over, and Notts a 13 for 1.
Well, a terrific start for Ollie Robinson, and as I say, just his 3rd match of the season. He's only bowled 59 overs in the Championship before today. The 2 matches he played, Middlesex at Hove, and then he played in the game at Grace Road against Leicestershire, where he bowled a lot of off-spin in that game. So all Ollie Robinson can do to get himself back into England reckon is to be bowling and taking wickets. And that's what he's done in his 2nd over of the day. So he'll be delighted. But you say misjudgment by, I don't know whether there's a bit of movement as well. Hamid looked surprised, didn't he, that the ball had hit the stumps. So Sussex will be delighted, and I'm sure Ollie Robinson will be just thrilled just to be bowling and picking up a wicket. So well done to Ollie Robinson. And Sussex, having won the toss and decided to bowl, will feel that decision is vindicated. Ollie Robinson having a chat down below us to Sean Hunt, the young Sussex left armer. Sussex with 4 seamers in the side. The spin options will be provided by 70. Well, actually, Archie Lennon, who's now 18. He was 18 this week, Archie.
Yeah, I saw that.
And James Coles, who's fielding at back. It is very gloomy. I'm with you, Dave. I'm a little surprised the floodlights aren't on. I can see a couple of lights shining at the pavilion end of the ground.
Paul Taylor says classic bowling that from Robinson. Nip 2 or 3 away and then nip 1 back. Did the business. Thank you, Paul. I hope you're well.
And here comes Brad Curry running away from us from the Ratcliffe Road end of the ground. He's in and bowls and driven sweetly by Slater to extra cover, where it's fielded by Pujara, and there is no run. 2
left-handed Bens out there now. Ben Duckett, 241 last week to become one of, I think, 4 batsmen have now reached 1,000 in Division 2, and I think Pujara's 1 run away from becoming the 5th, isn't it? 999.
He would have expected to have got there last week. He made a double 100 in the first inning at Lords, that took him to 997, but then just 2 in the second innings, as Tom Helm rather got into Sussex in the second innings. Curry in bowls, and Slater runs this one down towards 3rd man. Coles in hot pursuit. That's a good bit of fielding by James Coles. A good chase, and it prevents a boundary, but Slater comes back for a 2nd run. He goes to 8, and Nottinghamshire to 15 for 1.
Yeah, Duckett, 1,005 runs now, averaging 83.7, 3 centuries and 5 50s. Slater at the other end, probably half of those runs, 516 out, just under 40, 39.9, 1 century, and just 150 for Ben Slater. Could do with just adding 1 or 2 there into that end column in this game. He's had that colossal score at Durham early on, 225 not out, but that's his only century this season.
I well remember not too many of this Sussex side, indeed probably none of them were playing in the game at Wantage Road when Ben Duckett made a huge score for Northants. His best score, I think, as in comes Curry over the wicket, bowls and let go by Slater, taken by Ollie Carter, and there is no run.
Ben Duckett at Wantage Road, 282 not out in 2016, career best score, yeah. And this, if nothing's going to talk him out, this one will. This is his 7th match against Sussex, and he averages 99.42 against Sussex. So sorry, Ben. So sorry for mentioning that. You just know what's going to happen, don't you?
Curry on his way, bowls to the left-handed Slater, who hammers that one into the covers, and Curry he fell over, and I'm not so sure he's not hurt his ankle, you know. Brad Curry, he's getting to his feet rather gingerly. He slipped as he delivered the ball.
Yeah, I thought it was more knee on impact, because, although it looks green, it's bound to be bone hard, isn't it?
Well, he's stamping away at the footholes, is Brad Curry, but he took a tumble, and momentarily, well, he looks okay. He's walking back to his mark. Ollie Robinson and Sean Hunt just inquiring how he is, and I think he's okay. Umpire Baldwin at this end. just surveying those footholds as well. Curry looks okay. He's just trampling in the pile of sawdust. There is Brad Curry.
You struggle to make a sandcastle out of that now.
He's running away from us, coming into bowl to the left-handed. Slater is in and bowls, and Slater, that's one go outside the off-stump. I think he was a little tentative there running through the crease, and Ollie Robinson is now coming to get some sawdust.
He's going to build a sandcastle.
He is.
This match, don't know why, I really don't know why we started a day behind everybody else, Adrian, but
No.
the 7 matches that started yesterday, all underway on time today, so there are 8 matches going on in the County Championship, 5 in Division 1, 3 in Division 2. All the scores, all the commentaries available via the BBC Sport website, and anything of national importance we'll bring to your attention straight away.
And having not been here, Dave, for 5 years, we're here twice in a week. Such are the vagaries of the fixture list. In comes Curry, over the wicket bowls. Slater pushes forward, plays to backward point, fielded by James Coles, and there is no run. Over from Brad Curry, 2 overs, no maidens, 0 for 5, and Nottinghamshire at the end of the 4th over of the morning, having lost the toss, have been asked to bat here this morning, are 15 for 1. Hasiba Mead at the man out, bowled by Ollie Robinson for 5.
Yeah, a week today it starts, doesn't it, for Notts and Sussex, the Royal London One-Day Cup, and I just wonder how many of the Notts starting 11, how many of the Sussex starting 11 we'll be watching as we sit here a week from now. Maybe Slater, maybe a Mead. Duckett and Clark are away with the 100. James maybe here. Mulaney and Moores are away. Patterson, well, Fletcher's away, but not entirely sure about the 2 overseas players. Dane Patterson played in the Royal London last week, so there might be 5 or 6 of the Notts players.
I would think that nearly all the Sussex players would be available. I mean, Ollie Robinson, I understand, is contracted for the 100. I mean, again, he's an England player, so whether they'll want him to play in the 100 remains to be seen.
Here is Ollie Robinson. The last ball he bowled was a beauty. Duckett has had to wait a while for his first delivery, and he's off the mark. Just tucking it down to long leg to Brad Curry, the man with no name. 16 for 1.
I've lost my chain of thought. Yes, so I think most of this Sussex side, because the only one who I understand has got a contract for the 100 out of the 11 is Ollie. But as I say, whether England would allow him to play or want him to play some 50 over, I don't know.
Is Pujara sticking around for the rest of the summer?
Yes, he's here till the end of August, so he's here for the whole of the Royal London.
That's lovely, yeah.
But not the 3 championship matches in September.
Robinson bowls, strikes the right leg. Of course, Slater's a left-hander above the knee roll. Might have even got him on the fleshy bit of the leg, but it seems to be okay. 16 for 1 in the 5th over. If you're just joining us, welcome to Trent Bridge, where Nottinghamshire are hosting Sussex. They've lost a wicket early on, unchanged Notts for this particular match, but they've lost to Hasiba Mead in the 3rd over, bowled by the England paceman Ollie Robinson. We'll have Grace Ballinger, who spearheads the Lightning's attack, with us from past. Adrian Harms here. I'm Dave Bracegirdle. You're very welcome, as this one's tickled away down to long leg for a single. Now, you've worked with Grace before, I understand.
Yeah, it was the 2nd game of the season when Sussex played up at Derby. And there were 3 double hundreds in that game.
All right.
Cheteshwar Pujara, Tom Haynes, and
Shan Masood?
Yes. Well done. Wayne Madsen made 100.
Dave Fletcher was...
Shan Masood made 239.
Week.
Tom Haynes made 243, and Pujara 201.
Been some big scores, hasn't there, around us? Robinson, lovely rhythmical action bowls, but this is clipped away by Duckett, who looks $1 million right now, as he has done for most of the season. I'm sick of saying it, and I don't get anybody arguing with me. He's the best number 3 in county cricket, and he should be playing at a higher level. 21 for 1.
Beautiful shot, wasn't it? Tucked away. That game when he made his 282 at Wantage Road, Dave, from memory, we played the first 2 days, and then I think it hosed it down for 2 more, and that was the end of the game. I don't think Sussex got to bat in that game. And Ben Duckett was rather spoiled for getting his 300 by the weather.
I wonder if that match at Wantage Road in 2016 that Adrian's talking about featured a certain Ollie Stone. Here's another Ollie. Ollie Robinson bowls and Duckett blocks this one. You may have heard me. If you did sit through the commentary on the final day at Derby last week on Friday afternoon, I did mention the rumours that were growing about not signing Ollie Stone. Well, on Saturday morning, the official media announcement was made. Notts have signed Ollie Stone, former Northants man. He's had 3 years at Edgbaston with Warwickshire. Been injury hit over the last year or so, but he's got plenty of pace as Duckett clips this to mid-on, end of the 5th over, 21 for 1. Just maybe is, I don't know, not putting words into anybody. We don't know how it's going to pan out, but just maybe it might be the long-term successor to Stuart Broad. Maybe Stuart's going to stick around for years and years and years. We don't know, but plenty of pace for Ollie Stone when you can get him on the park. But he's another one that has had injury issues, and let's just hope they'll be sorted out over the winter, and he can have a good season both domestically and internationally from here on in.
I think he's got a broken finger as well now, hasn't he? Which in a second 11 game. I remember watching Ollie Stone bowl at Edgbaston 5 years ago now, when Sussex played Warwickshire, opening game of the season, and he bowled at the speed of light.
Slippery quick, isn't he, on his day.
Bradley Curry running away from us, left arm over the wicket, in and bowls, and let go by Ben Slater outside of the off stump, taken by Ollie Carter, and there is no run.
There are quite a number of fast bowlers on the Trent Bridge staff at the moment that can't get a look in. Feel a little bit for Brett Hutton, who keeps making the squads and really getting his game. Zach Chappell has been and is away with Leicestershire, playing in their current match with Gloucestershire, I beg your pardon, playing in their current match. Joey Everson was on loan. In fact, he was bowling at Sam North East last week.
In comes Curry, bowls, and played by Slater through the slip corner. It beats the dive of Orr at third slip. I think I'll give him benefit of that. I think he was just about in control of that as he ran it down to that short third man boundary for a boundary. Slater into double figures. He goes to 13 and Notts to 25 for 1.
Toby Petman has had a couple of loan spells. He's played for both Kent and for Derbyshire this year. So there's a number of players, if you like, on the fringes. Or maybe not even on the fringes, but certainly in the pecking order. Just wonder how the next month will go for many of those in the Royal London One Day Cup. Packed committee balcony today, you can see at the far end.
In comes Curry and bowls, and he sits on the pad is Slater. Curry's pleading with umpire Baldwin for the LBW decision. The slip called were up, but without a huge amount of conviction, I thought, and umpire Baldwin decides that's not out. The total remains on 25 for 1 on a gloomy morning here at Trent Bridge. Sussex with 2 slips and a gully, a backward point, cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket and a fine leg. Where's the committee balcony? Was that it to the left of the, as we look out to the left of the...
They've got the nice,
all the nice
hanging baskets.
Yeah.
Other end of the pavilion from the players' dressing room.
Curry in and bowls, and Slater forwards. A ball of good length, plays it onto the onside, fielded by Ollie Robinson, and there is no run. Slater on 13, Duckett on 5. As Dave was saying, Sussex winning the toss here this morning, electing to bowl first. Ollie Robinson in just his 3rd county championship match of the season.
We're playing over towards the Bridgeford Road side of the ground here, and we are so far over that some temporary sheets, some great big bedding sheets, if you like, have been put up as sight screens at the other end.
Curry in and bowls, and Slater drives beautifully through the covers. That's 4 runs, beats the dive of Bajara, and that was sweetly timed by Ben Slater. Lovely shot, just punched the ball away through the covers. He goes to 17 and Notts to 29 for 1. There's been a couple of lovely shots from Ben Slater this morning, and that was beautifully played.
Yeah.
You were talking about Joey Everson, who's now at Leicestershire, because he made 109 down at Hove, batting at number 9. That was a quite extraordinary innings.
It was, yeah. And Stephen Mullaney got a big 100, didn't he, down there, first game of the season. Yeah, Liam Patterson-White with lots and lots of overs. I think he bowled 38 overs in each innings, something like that.
In comes Curry and bowls, and Slater is forward, plays to mid-on, fielded by Robinson. There is no run. End of the over, 29 for 1. Slater 17, Duckett on 5. Bradley Curry 3 overs, no wicket for 30. Yes, it was an extraordinary game because Notts, Dave, were 52 for 4 at one stage and ended up declaring on 5 34 for 9. It was extraordinary, wasn't it? As you say, Stephen Mullaney made 192, and Jolie Everson made 109 not out. And Notts winning that match by 10 wickets, Julie.
Yeah, quite a dramatic turnaround as the game wore on.
Seems to be getting a little gloomier to me, actually.
I think so, yeah. We can see the power station there, so we're all right.
Oh, where's the power station?
Way to our right. We can see the main chimney.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Right. Well, by that patch of sort of slightly lighter sky.
Yeah. East Midlands Airport over there as well. Should be able to see the aeroplanes coming in and out. Robinson's going round the wicket, which has necessitated not spectators having to move, but some of the Sussex coaching staff, or maybe the backup players who were just sat in line on the lower balcony at the far end. They've just had to get up and move. So Robinson, 3 overs, 1 for 16, bowling to Ben Duckett, who has 5. He's guided this down with soft hands, and they take a single. Decent tumbling stop there by James Coles, do we think that is?
Yes, I've no idea why he's wearing Ali Orr's jumper.
Well,
just to confuse us, perhaps.
An extra one, it's perhaps a bit chilly. He's another one that's quickly discovered how firm the outfield is, because he's got up rubbing his knee. 30 for 1.
Yeah, so he's right. Who else hurt his? Oh, the
bowler,
Brad Curry. Yes, when
over,
he slipped over in there a little earlier on this morning.
Robinson round the wicket, bowls, and Slater left the bat out there. Nice delivery. Andrew Wallace, head groundsman at beautiful Wormsley. We love Wormsley. Says, morning Dave, sorry if you've already addressed this. Do you know the boundary size away to the Smith Cooper stand of the ground? It looks very close to me, even shorter than the 50-yard minimum on the stream. Was wondering if dispensation was required, if so. No, we've actually played a little shorter than that, Andrew. It's not the biggest boundary in the world. This one's worked away to that short boundary and away for 4, but they have actually played a couple of strips closer, and I know the one closer is 50 yards, so it's probably 55 or so, but there's no protection there, and it's just so quick over the outfield, nicely worked away. But yeah, it is a short boundary, but it is more than the minimum, Andrew.
I seem to remember, Dave, the last game that Sussex played, he was also played with that short boundary.
Probably.
Did Luke Wood get some runs? I think
yeah, that was in 2014 where he hit Steve McGoffin.
That's right.
For quite a few maximums. This one's dropped on the leg side by Ben Slater, who's moved on to 21, 34 for 1. Again, Adrian looking skywards. It's filling in all around us. The forecast I saw was perhaps a little bit of morning drizzle, and then he should be okay. Well, we did have that little bit of morning drizzle, so hopefully it'll blow away. Adrian wasn't here. You've driven up this morning.
I did, yeah. A bit of drizzle on the way up the M1, but not a lot of traffic around. I think a lot of people are on holiday, Dave, so it was a very good journey this morning.
You're a braver man than me. A journey of that length on the morning of a game. This one goes through to the keeper, and even more so after last week or a fortnight ago when I went to Cardiff and got the old puncture, which was an absolute nightmare, but thanks to the old roadside assistance, got it sorted out.
I'm going to have to nip next door and give a radio update.
Okie dokie, we'll bring Amazing Grace in and bring Adrian back in at midday, then he can take a few photographs and update his socials, and more from Adrian before too long. Nottinghamshire 34 for 1, final ball of the 7th over, and Robinson bowls with sufficient width for it to go through to the wicket keeper, who is Ollie Carter. Nottinghamshire 34 for 1, Robinson 4 overs, 1 for 21, Curry 3 overs, none for 13. No maidens bowled as yet, but certainly a wicket picked up. A Seba Mead bowled Robinson for 5. I'm sure BBC Radio Nottingham will come to me within the next moment or two, just as soon as we start to have a conversation, but it doesn't stop me saying a very good morning. Welcome back to Trent Bridge to Loughborough's rapid left arm opening bowler, Grace Ballinger. Hiya.
Morning, yeah. Haven't been described as rapid in a very long time, maybe since I was about 15. But yeah, no, it's great to be back at Trent Bridge, one of my favourite grounds, I'd say. And yeah, nice to be here for all 4 days for the first time.
34 for one. As Brad Curry to bowl his 4th over, bowling to duck it, leaves it alone, it goes through to the keeper. Last time you were here, we had you commentating. I don't know if you want to do an end of piece or chip in again when I run out of things to say, but we'll throw it open to you. We need to know all about your game at the weekend if it's not too painful, because I followed like the old days watching games on CFAX. I followed the closing stages of the Lightning's match on Saturday on the old socials. As this one's worked into the offside, they'll get a single. 35 for one. You're playing for Lightning in the Charlotte Edwards Trophy on Saturday.
Yeah, that's correct. It was our final game before the 100 break, and we were up in Durham playing against the Northern Diamonds, who had played 3-1-3. But yeah, we had a pretty strong side. 4 changes to the week before. We had a lot of injuries the week before, and yeah, went down to the second to last ball, and unfortunately we were on the losing side of that.
It's great to play in a game as close as that. It ended up in a 1-wicket defeat, didn't it? But it's horrible when you come out on the wrong end. Next delivery is past Slater through to the keeper. I'll finish this over, so I'm just waiting for Radio Nottingham, if they haven't forgotten, to come for their bottom of the hour update. 35 for one, and as I mentioned, just getting a little dig in earlier, last time you were here, the game after, you got a 5 for them.
Yeah, I did all right actually. 5 for 29 it was at Hazelgrave, which is on campus, another great ground. Yeah, no, that was good. We managed to get the win over Thunder, and also our skipper Catherine Bryce getting a ton.
Slater has 21 out of a partnership of the partnership worth 22. Next delivery is played up to mid-on. Ollie Robinson is doing the fielding. I've been put on hold for Michael Bublé.
I think that's fair.
Bublé fan?
Only at Christmas time.
Yeah, and it comes out at Christmas, doesn't he?
Defrost.
Where is that update? Yeah, it is grey and gloomy as we look out the window, Mark. Same here, but we have started on time at 11 o'clock. Knots of batting put in by the visitors, who this week are Sussex, skippered by a former Notts player. Chiteshwar Pujara won the toss, decided to have a bit of a bowl in these pretty decent overhead conditions for bowling, and Notts have already lost a wicket. Asiba Mead, he was done by the old 1-2-3 trick. Couple of balls just shaped away from him. The next one he left it alone and it came back and clipped off an off bail. So Mead, who got all the runs last week, out for just 5 today. Notts are unchanged. They're batting as the floodlights in fact do come on as I'm speaking to you, and 2 runs there take Notts to 37 for 1. Ian Smith, who works the screen actually quicker than me, they've obviously gone from 33 for 1 to 35 for 1, so that's the score. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Here's Curry, bowls to Slater, eases it into the offside, and there's no runs. He played at Chesterley Street last week. First time you played up there?
No, it's actually the 3rd time I've played there. We play at Durham quite a lot, which I do enjoy.
It's always Baltic up there, though, isn't it?
I think this is what I said last time I was here, that I really like Chesterley Street, but it's not often a popular ground, but I think it's great.
Yeah, I like going up there. Get many in? Many come along and watch?
Less in the 50 over than we do in the T20 stuff, but there was a few actually. We often get a few at Durham, and it's a nice sized ground, isn't it, really? I think sometimes when you play at the big grounds or the test grounds that hold, thousands and thousands of people, it looks a bit empty. But saying that, there's a few people in today, isn't there, here?
Yeah. When's your next match?
Not to the 100.
And you are playing for the Lords-based side.
I am, yeah, London Spirit.
Crikey.
So moving down to London next week. It's all very exciting.
Lock, stock and barrel? Team hotel, presumably?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And there must be training days. Where are they then? Indoor school at Lords? Nursery end at Lords?
I think at the nursery ground at Lords. I'd imagine.
Do you want to take this one, Ollie Robinson?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. It's as he comes in, Ollie Robinson to duck it, and it's good delivery, full on the stumps, and flicked round to find square leg, and it's out. That is a big wicket. Ben Duckett caught for just 7.
I don't know if we should let you do it.
Yeah.
Another wicket. Yeah, that's a really important one there for Sussex. Duckett's been in the most magnificent form, but you're right, he just clipped that off his leg straight into the hands of the fielder. I think it's James Coles who's pouched it, and Duckett goes, made 7 at the crease, 24 minutes, 8 balls, 1 4. And in these gloomy overhead conditions, Ollie Robinson just doing what Ollie Robinson does, puts it there or thereabouts and makes the batsman play. Got a big wicket.
Yeah, massive. I mean, good to see Ollie Robinson back, and obviously bowling well, bowling in good areas, but yeah, massive wicket there for Sussex. The two players that got big score yesterday, that 400, not yesterday, last week, that 402 run partnership, so obviously both of them in very good form and both of them gone early on, so Sussex certainly on top at this moment, but as we say, Nottingham do back very deep and brings in Joe Clark in at number 4.
Yet to register 100 this season. Let's see if we can do some reverse jinxing. I mentioned how well both Hamid and Duckett were going, and that didn't work. So Clark with the best of 95 at Glamorgan. Actually felt for him down there. Didn't think he'd hit it. Was given out, caught behind it. Very bizarre way to get out, with the wicketkeeper appealing for a stumping, and he was actually given the caught behind. We've discussed that at length in time. Ollie Robinson here, 2 for 21. He won't mind these overhead conditions, and he'll certainly be hoping the umpires keep them out there, although the light isn't tremendous, is it, right now? There is Joe Clark then at the crease. Clark 504 runs, decent enough average, I suppose, at 42. It's not an average that's going to have him knocking the doors down of the selectors demanding a place, is it? An average of 42, best of 95, 450s, but as we say, no hundreds yet this season.
But it'd be a good time to get one today for Nottinghamshire.
Look for the old nervy get forward and push and run, which he often likes to do. Likes to get off the mark first ball.
See what he does here as Robinson comes in and just comes forward, good length ball, and just defended into the leg side. Seems to be doing a bit, I think, for Ollie Robinson. Wicket's pretty green, but as you say, often the wickets do look green here, and there's a massive amount of runs scored on them, so interesting to see how this one plays out. Obviously the very short boundary towards the Smith-Cooper stand.
Decent start for Grace. Wicket first ball.
Robinson comes in again, 3 slips in to Clark, and he gets that one through, and it's another front foot no ball.
Yeah.
Seems to be struggling a bit there, Ollie Robinson, but well, it was a very good ball nonetheless.
It was. Clark pushing at it. Did you play in the 100 last year?
I did not.
So
no.
this is going to be your debut. You must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's really nice to go and see different environments, isn't it? And I mean, the environment at Lightning's great, don't get me wrong, but it's always nice to try different things and go to new places, and excited to have Lords as my home ground.
And who's going to be your head coach?
Trevor, his name is. Also the Western Storm coach, and I've worked with him a bit before, so really excited. Trevor Griffin, as Robinson comes in again, and another ball on the stumps, just defended straight back. He attempts to one-handed pick up, but just rolls through to mid-off.
Bit of national television exposure as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, very exciting. Very exciting to get going.
The last time you were here, Kirsty Gordon was with you. How's Kirsty doing?
She's good. She's always good. Miss Gordon, good friend of mine. Robinson in again, and another full ball, almost a repeat of the last, and just brings Clark forward. He looks pretty solid in there. Good start from Joe Clark, except that one just slightly outside off, which beat the outside edge. Yeah, Kirsty bowled well on Saturday. Picked up a couple. Well, she should have bowled well on that wicket. Proper turning wicket up at Durham. Nothing.
I looked on early on, and you, I don't know, 6 overs, 1 for 13 or something. And as I say, when I next had a little look to see how you got on, I think they wanted 6 off 2 overs or something with 2 wickets left.
Robinson in again. Right arm over and slightly back of the length to bring Clark back, but just defended it into near his feet, really. Yeah, there's a lot of spin bowled on Saturday. I think we bowled 13 overs of seam. I think they bowled probably similar. So, yeah, turning wicket. Nothing in it for seam bowlers these days. It's either a road or it's a turning wicket. It's an unfair game.
Well, you'll have to up your pace. Everybody wants a genuinely quick fast bowler.
Final ball of Robinson's over then, and again beats the outside edge, slightly back of the length, and Clark comes forward. I might give him the benefit of the doubt and say he might have left that in the end, but another good over for Sussex. Nottinghamshire 39 for 2.
Yeah, not the start that Notts would have wanted. Sussex winning the toss, putting the home county in on a wicket which, well, it always looks green on the first day here. If we're to have any prolonged sunshine over the first couple of days, it will gradually pale in colour. But like most cricket grounds up and down the country, bone hard, fast outfield. Going to be Curry, who's bowled his 4 overs, none for 16. Not had a great deal of protection on that offside. Shorter boundary, bowls to Slater, who blocks this one out into the covers. Pujara doing the fielding. 39 for 2.
Just looks like the ground staff having a look at the covers over there towards our left side. Don't know if they're expecting a bit of rain, but I certainly didn't think there was any forecast.
Well, the fact they've left their comfy armchairs and their cups of tea, Grace, to all stand by the hover cover and get into position might lead us to think that there's perhaps a shower on its way. Next one's steered into the offside by Slater, and there's no run. Curry with ball in hand. Might be a little bit of movement behind the arm, but they've all settled down now. And he comes and bowls, and this one allowed to go through to the keeper. 26th of July, only Nottinghamshire birthday I can find. Harry Latchman, leg spinner, who's been Middlesex's president. Couple of years or so ago. Harry Latchman played for Notts and for Middlesex. Harry's 79 today, won't be listening, but happy birthday to Harry, who, when he is on the ground, often comes and joins us, does a little bit of commentary, very popular up and down the country. Harry Latchman. Next one's eased to mid-off, no run. On this day in 1998, one of the most famous passages of Test match cricket took place here at Trent Bridge. That over from Alan Donnell to Michael Atherton. He'd had Nasser Hussain dropped by Mark Boucher, and then there was one that seemed to clip the gloves of Atherton through to the keeper, and they didn't give it. I don't know if you remember it. One of the real intense battles in Test match cricket. This one goes through to the keeper of 1998. I know it's slightly before your playing career, but you may have heard it. That was the match that week when this very stand that you're sat in now was officially opened by Sir Garfield Sobers ahead of that Test match, England versus South Africa in '98. It's Mick Jagger's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mick Jagger.
You know who Mick Jagger is. Any guess as to how old Mick Jagger might be?
I would have absolutely no idea. Maybe 75?
It's the same as Harry Latchman. He's 79.
It's a decent guess.
Yeah.
Is he a singer?
He is, the Rolling Stones, yeah. Helen Mirren, the actress, she's 77 today. 39 for 2. If it's your birthday or there's anybody we've missed, please let us know. 26th of July. Happy birthday. We're ready to play again. Curry bowls through Slater and into the gloves of wicketkeeper Ollie Carter. It's a very decent over, that was indeed. First maiden of the 10 that Sussex have sent down. Curry 5 overs, 1 maiden, none for 16. Left arm fast, our resident left arm fast here. What do you make of Brad Curry's start?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely his best over yet. Just looked to really be challenging the outside edge, and obviously the stumps left a bit, so much so that I think it was cover they took out and then ended with 3 slips in a gully to the left-handed Slater. And yeah, Slater looked a little bit uncomfortable there after a relatively good start. So yeah, he's going well. Don't think he's played heaps of county championship
Second
cricket.
game, Adrian said, yeah, made his debut last week.
Yeah, looks good.
Brother of Scott Curry, who's played a little bit over the last year or two for Hampshire.
3 slips in then for Robinson as he bowls his first ball to Clark, and that's just flick through the leg side and through mid-wicket, and will be a couple as mid-on gives chase. Will just be 1. Well fielded, although the floppy hat did come off in the chase.
He's away. I mean, he's saying he likes to get forward, and you know they used to call it with Kevin Peterson the Red Bull run, didn't they? The first ball, nervous energy, get that run out of the way, but it took him until his 7th delivery there to get off the mark. Joe Clark knots 40 for 2. Wonder how long they'll keep Robinson going, because these are ideal conditions for him, and he looks in good rhythm, doesn't he? But this is his 6th over.
He does, yeah. Both the seamers looking good, and as you say, overcast conditions, very good. Looks like they're both getting a bit of movement in the air and off the pitch. So looks like they're just deliberating bringing a gully in, but they decide against it. So the 3 slips in for Slater, and they've gone for like the fly slip almost. It was near how they got Ben Duckett.
Yeah,
just
it's a little finer, isn't it,
than
than where he was. Seemed to be a bit of a tame dismissal, that one, didn't it?
Yeah. You won't be wanting to watch that one back, Ben Duckett, as Slater faces the short ball from Robinson, but it's just guided to that short boundary where there is a deep square fielder and will just be 1.
Yeah, I did mention Mick Jagger there, big cricket fan. Steve says, remember seeing Mick Jagger on the players' balcony at the 1976 West Indies Test at Trent Bridge. Yes, Steve, I was here for that one. That was the Grovel Test, wasn't it? The Tony Gregg Grovel Test. Viv Richards 232. I was there for all 5 days of that. Mark says, morning everybody from Rutland Water. This is the 10th anniversary of the Olympic opening ceremony in London. Thanks for that, Mark. Of course, the Commonwealth Games are just around the corner, aren't they? Is it this weekend it starts? And there's cricket in the Commonwealth Games.
There is, yeah. Women's cricket, first game on Friday, I think it is. 4 slips in then for Clark as Robinson bowls, just brings Clark forward and outside off, but just played into the offside for a no run.
And how have they... England are in it, aren't they? How have they picked the England squad? Is it the first choice 11, or how does that go with obviously the 100 starting?
Yeah, interesting. I think, well, I saw an interview with Heather Knight. They've gone for a slightly different approach. They want to be really attacking in the power play, so they've picked a couple of younger ones, which is good. Good friend of mine, Izzy Wong, getting some good exposure in the England side, which has been pleasing to see, and she's in that Commonwealth Games squad as well. Robinson in then, and slightly back of a length and left alone by Clark.
Yeah, Alice Capsey getting her first England call this week.
Yeah, she went well yesterday, didn't she?
Yeah, she was at the Cricket Writers' dinner last October that we went to, where Luke Fletcher got the Player of the Year award. I think she was the young player, the young women's Player of the Year. She definitely picked up one award at the do.
Yeah, she had a very good season last year, breakthrough season. Robinson in again and again, and it's just, oh, I didn't hear that edge. It's a good ball back of a length, and Clark fishes out to it in a fine edge and through to the keeper. Nottinghamshire in all sorts of trouble here at 41 for 3.
Just a faint nick, wasn't it? Here's the replay. Robinson bowling to Clark, and he just had a little fiddle at that one, and everybody went up, didn't they? they all detected the nick. The ball was thrown skywards by wicketkeeper Clark and his namesake, wicketkeeper Carter, I beg your pardon, and Joe Clark has to go. Terrific stuff this from Ollie Robinson, and just shows what a talent Sussex have been without this year. Joe Clark at the crease for quarter of an hour, faced 10 balls, has gone for 1, and already Sussex have a bowling point for taking 3 wickets. Knots 41 for 3.
Yeah, I'm sure Ollie Robinson will be very pleased. As you say, he's had minimal time on the pitch this year, and as a seam bowler I think it can really affect your rhythm, and sometimes feel like you're struggling a little bit when you get back onto the park, but hasn't looked the case for Ollie Robinson. He's been in really good rhythm, putting it in really good areas, and he's been rewarded for it. Knots now 3 down.
Lyndon James is the new man. Couple of hundreds this season for Lyndon James, including a big one in the Middlesex game. Was he batting the day you were here, or Middlesex batting? I can't remember.
Not so batting.
579 runs for Lyndon James, a best of 155, 2 centuries and 3 50s, averages 52.6. Yeah, it may well have been the second day, I think, when he went on to get that big score. But he's out a lot earlier than, or out in the middle. hoping he won't be out a lot earlier, but he's out in the middle a lot earlier than he would have hoped. 55 minutes of play here, just in the 11th over, 41 for 3. Rob Collins says overcast skies, floodlights on. Enough said. Absolutely right, Rob. Good start this from Ollie Robinson and from Sussex.
4 slips in then for the first ball of Lyndon James. Just the one field out on the boundary in that long leg region, as Robinson just makes a couple of changes to his field. Just 1 ball of the over for Lyndon James to face then. So Robinson runs in, right arm over the wicket, 4 slips in play. And a good ball left alone well by Lyndon James outside off, and ends the over. Nottinghamshire 41 for 3.
As you'd expect, Sussex very much up for this. It's clear that Pujara is relishing the responsibility. You can see him there just having lots of little chats and applauding some of the younger members. He's just had a natter there. Come on, when the captain comes to you like that, Grace, is he saying, can you give me another one, or is he saying, that'll do for now? They're having a more than the passing word here, aren't they? It's got to be, is there another one in you?
You'd think he'd want to bowl another one, wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you?
When you've taken 3 wickets in 6 overs, I mean, I'd want to go on for as long as I could, to be honest. And I suppose it might be a workload management thing. Yeah,
6 overs he's had, 3 for 25. I mean, he's gone for a few runs, but you'd take that any day of the week, wouldn't you? The 3 in the end column.
Yeah, I mean, such fast outfield, isn't it? And very short boundary.
Slater's still there on 24. Important that he goes on now. 3 slips and a gully. Slater a little push into the offside. They take a single, 42 for 3. The 2 other Division 2 games, I can tell you, up at Chesterley Street, where Grace was playing at the weekend. Durham 152 for 1 against 3rd place Middlesex. Glamorgan, who are in 2nd place now, aren't playing in this round of matches. New Road, a lot of wickets fell yesterday. Worcestershire now have a lead in that one. They bowled Derbyshire out for 130 yesterday. Worcestershire 178 for 8. Division 1, they've currently got rain at Scarborough. They're off there in the Yorkshire-Hampshire game. There's Curry. Now to bowl to Lyndon James, and he's away with a glorious shot through mid-wicket. Will the ball win the race? It might just pull up. It might just be a little bit of moisture on the extremities, and it does pull up, and they come back for 3. Lovely looking shot from Lyndon James. So he's away, 45 for 3. In that fixture at Scarborough North Marine Road, Yorkshire all out for 159, Hampshire 3 for 1, but as I say, off for rain. Essex 309 for 3 at Chelmsford against Somerset. At Cheltenham, Gloucestershire 317 all out. Northants in reply are 67 for 1. Nottinghamshire's Zach Chappell has bowled 8 overs, none for 22. Just waiting for the next delivery here, which is now on its way. Slater on strike. Curry bowls to him. Another push away into the offside. Slater on to 26, 46 for 3. At Old Trafford, Lancashire all out for 145 against Kent. That's a very un-Lancashire-like score this season. 145. Top score, Luke Wells, former Sussex man, of course, 35. 5 wickets for Matt Henry of Kent in that one. At the Oval, Warwickshire 253 all out. Surrey 12 for 1. And that's it. You're up to speed with everything that's happening elsewhere as we approach midday. Adrian will be back just after he's done his update to listeners in the south, as Curry goes round the wicket now to Lyndon James, who drives elegantly up to Pujara at mid-on. First time we've seen him at mid-on, isn't it? Doing the fielding. 46 for 3.
Quite a good position for a captain to field, I think. I think Catherine Bryce, our captain, often puts herself in mid-off, mid-on. Good just to chat to the bowlers and quite a good view of the game, I suppose.
Does she orchestrate the field changes, or you, or do you sort of do it between you?
Yeah, between us, and Kirsty comes in sometimes as vice captain. She's got very good tactical knowledge and likes to give her opinion. So, yeah, I mean, yes, obviously sometimes I'll do my own field and sometimes Catherine will suggest things.
Lyndon James on strike, big, tall right-hander, elegant player. Pushes this up to mid-off. And there's no run. Number 21. Is that Sean Hunt doing the fielding there? Yes, it is Sean Hunt. I didn't have a number 21 on the sheet. There he is. Umpires are Paul Baldwin and Neil Bainton, neither of whom played first-class cricket. There's only 2 or 3 on the first-class circuit that didn't play first-class cricket, but got 2 of them standing here. Curry bowls. Lyndon James clips it to mid-wicket. No run. 46 for 3. Match referee for this one, appointed by the ECB, of course, Dean Kosker, the former Glamorgan slow left-arm spinner. Nice to have Dean on the ground again. 46 for 3 after 12 overs. Tim Robinson's here as well, now as a role as an umpire's assessor. He was at Derby last week for the Derbyshire Notts game, but Tim Robinson back on his old stomping ground for this one. 46 for 3. So the result of that chat, Grace, Robinson has either asked for another one or Pujara's urged him to try and give him another one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pujara would definitely be wanting him to, the way he's bowling, and he comes in here to bowl his first ball of the over at Slater, and it's a good ball outside off. Look, I thought it had taken the stumps for a second, left alone by Slater, and just seemed to carry through quite well. Looked like a bit of movement maybe once it gone past batter as well.
Lee says Dave is not only a fan, Mick Jagger actually played quite a bit of village cricket. He was once unable to play a game through injury and was replaced in the team by Kerry O'Keefe, former Australian international. Played a bit over here for Somerset back in the day. Recent years has been a TV and radio commentator.
Robinson in, round the wicket to the left-handed batter and back of a length, and takes Slater onto the back foot, but just defended into the offside.
Thanks for that, Lee. He's been in touch on Brace Cricket. I did say we'd give you your Twitter bits and pieces.
Just my Twitter.
What is it?
At Grace.
Amazing Grace.
Reckon that one's already taken. At Grace Ballinger 2.
Who's Grace Ballinger 1? Is that your squad number?
Squad number's 1.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you in a second. Robinson comes in and good ball full, pushes Slater forward, another ball with no run taken.
You've got to be good to have a squad number 1. Or were they dished out alphabetically to start with?
No. My shirt number is 1, but my squad number is 2.
Well, how does that work?
Because
that doesn't make any sense.
No, well, shirt numbers are just chosen, and the squad was obviously done on people who debuted, and I played in the first game.
Oh, right.
I think 3 years ago, and obviously my surname.
No shirt number I'm on about.
No, shirt number 1. Which is, people have mixed opinions on, but I like it.
You've got to be good to have a number 1. Here's an update for BBC Radio Nottingham listeners. Yeah, not a great opening hour for Nottinghamshire. We're in the 13th over of the day. Sussex winning the toss, putting Notts in, and already Hamid, Duckett and Clark have fallen to Ollie Robinson, recent England Test player, of course. Robinson, this is his first game since the very start of the season, really has impressed, bowling from the pavilion end, and he's reduced Nottinghamshire in this opening hour to 46 for 3. Here comes Robinson into bowl, and this one through to the keeper. Grace, we can do a bit of a headphone shuffle. If you want to hand your headphone to Adrian to your right, and then after this delivery, once we've got Adrian reconnected with the world, you can have my headphones, unless you're desperate for a break right now or anything. You can share commentary with the County Cricket Commentator of the Year, which is what he is. He doesn't like talking about it, but he is. Here's Ollie Robinson. Final ball of this over, 46 for 3. What a spell this has been from Robinson. Don't know if it's coming to an end. Slater a push and run, so he'll keep strike. 47 for 3. Welcome back, Adrian. You must be very impressed with Ollie Robinson, and in a moment you'll be joined by Grace.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Well, I think we were saying earlier on in the commentary that really all Ollie Robinson can do is to force his way back into England reckoning, and that's what he'll be thinking about. I mean, he's a centrally contracted player, so England can decide when he plays. And this was a game I think was always likely to be a game that Ollie would play in, and all he can do, Grace, I guess, is come back in and take wickets. But you never know, do you, as a bowler, when he's had these injuries, but he seems to be running in hard. And as Dave was saying, he's got this lovely flowing action, Ollie Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier, considering the amount of overs he's bowled this year, obviously not a lot. His rhythm's great, and he's bowled a couple front foot no balls, which is quite understandable. But yeah, he's looked really good, and he's come in and made an impact straight away, and really looks to add a bit of depth in the bowling to the Sussex lineup. So they'll be pleased to have him back, and he's gone very well.
Now, we've got a change of bowling from this Radcliffe Road end. It's going to be Sean Hunt, the 20-year-old left-arm seamer, who's going to be taking over from Bradley Curry, who's finished his spell. We've got some emails have come in, sussexcricket@bbc.co.uk, and I'll read a couple of those out in a moment's time. As in comes Sean Hunt. 3 slips go down. He's in and bowls to Ben Slater, who lets that one go outside the off stump, taken by Ollie Carter, and there is no run. John Malone has been in touch. Hello, John. He says, hello, team. Cloudy but humid in Bexhill-on-Sea this morning. Think I will sit down and watch a little of the stream with a cuppa and see how Ollie Robinson is progressing with his fitness. Pictures and sound are good. Looks a little cloudy at Trent Bridge, as though there's a small boundary on one side as well. Yeah, it's a fairly short boundary. That's similar to what we had at a county match at Hove recently. As in comes Hunt. It's a lot brighter now. Comes in and bowls, and looking to pull that. He's got a little under edge on that. I think Ben Slater went through to keeper Ollie Carter. It was short. Slater was looking to hammer that one away through square leg. And just for a moment, I thought he got a little under edge on that and through to keeper Carter, but umpire Baldwin says not out.
It was a pretty convincing appeal, wasn't it? I mean, all the slip corner went up, keeper went up, but don't think the bowler was too interested, and doesn't seem like they're too disheartened. So, good appeal, but I think Slater will feel as if he's missed out there.
It's definitely brighter though, Grace, isn't it? A lot brighter.
Yeah.
As in comes Hunt. Bowls, and that's wide outside the off stump, and Slater that lets go, and Ollie Carter pretty much takes that in front of first slip, and there is no run. Bob Pook's been in touch in Hastings. He said, good morning, Adrian, enjoying the commentary. Now, I said that 6 Sussex players had made hundreds this season. In fact, it's 7. So Pujara, Rizwan, yes, Mohammed Rizwan. I left off at Pujara, Rizwan, Carter, Orr, Clark, Alsop and Haynes. Thank you, Bob, for correcting me. In comes Sean Hunt bowls. That's a better delivery outside of the off stump. Let go by Ben Slater through to Ollie Carter, and there is no run. So thank you, Bob, for letting us know that. One from Dave. I'm not sure if you pronounce that Dave Gin or Dave Ginn. but it's talking about the incident last week at Lord's, which I have to say I didn't see, David. So we'll discuss that with Brace when he comes back on commentary a little later on, because I must admit I didn't see that particular incident. As in comes Sean Hunt over the wicket, bowls, and that's a good delivery that Slater just plays a little uncertainly forward to. The ball bobbles down the offside of the track, and Ollie Carter runs from behind the stumps to field, and there is no run. Batting hasn't looked easy, Grace, this morning.
No, it certainly hasn't. And I mean, Slater's gone well. He's looked pretty comfortable a lot of the times, but then every so often he just looks like he's getting a bit caught up in overs. And Hunt's come on here and he's looked pretty threatening, to be honest. And Slater looks, as I say, a little bit uncomfortable.
Hunt in and bowls, and this time Slater lets that go. An exaggerated leave outside of the off stump. It's the end of Sean Hunt's opening over, which is a maiden over, and Nottinghamshire have been asked to bat this morning at 47 for 3, with Hamid for 5, Duckett for 7 and Clark for 1, all back in the pavilion. All 3 wickets taken by Ollie Robinson, and I think that is going to be the end of Ollie Robinson's spell, and I think it's going to be Arikavelos who's going to take over. Well, Ollie Robinson will be delighted, Grace, just to back in and bowling, and but time for a change at that pavilion end.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it, this bowler. I mean, he debuted just last week, am I correct?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's played born in Johannesburg. He has played first-class cricket before, but none of that in the county championship. And last week he came into the side together with Bradley Curry, who opened the bowling for Sussex, and he did really well and made a very good half-century in the second innings, which was pretty helpful.
First ball comes in and pretty sharp as it carries through to the keeper, full and left outside off by Lyndon James. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, looked like Sussex were in a bit of trouble. They were, what, 96 for 7?
Yes, they were. Absolutely, they were. And he made 57 in just 97 balls. And it just for a moment, it looked as if Sussex might get bowled out, and Middlesex may have a little bit of a run chase. But the Sussex tail really dug deep. Archie Lenham made 19 in 82 balls. Arikavelos made that 57. And Sussex managed to see things out.
As he comes in again, and Fuller this time, an attempted drive by Lyndon James. He looks frustrated that he didn't get that one away as it just trickles to mid-on.
But he bowled well as well. 23.5 overs, 9 maidens, 2 for 72. Amazing game last week at Lord's, Grace, because it was 40 degrees in London last, whatever day it was, Tuesday, and Middlesex won the toss and decided to bowl, which just seemed a slightly crazy decision. But there you go. I'm sure there were reasons behind it.
Wonder how the opening bowlers felt about that, as this one's slightly back of a length and quite wide outside off. Not the most threatening delivery, which is left alone by Lyndon James.
Now we have to talk about Commonwealth. I don't know if you've spoken with Dave about it this morning, but Commonwealth Games, and I think England's women's first game is on Saturday, I think I heard.
Yeah, I think that is correct. I think the first game of the Commonwealth Games is Friday, but England play for the first time on Saturday. Yeah, obviously really exciting for it to be in the games, and even better that they're all played at the home of cricket, which is Edgbaston to me. As it's another good ball, short, outside off, but again left alone. I think he just needs to maybe bring his line a little bit straighter here. Looks like James is pretty happy just to leave it alone.
And it's the T20 format. And I'd have thought England, after their terrific form in this multi-format series against South Africa, which they've won, I think, 14 points to 2, probably go in as favourites, do you think, Grace?
Possibly, I mean...
Or obviously got Australia.
Yeah, Australia are pretty strong as well. As that one again is short outside off and punished this time. Pujara managed to get a hand to it at cover, but ultimately doesn't stop it from racing away to that short boundary. And good shot for Lyndon James, and that will help his confidence. Thank you, Dave. And that is Nottinghamshire 51 for 3.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess Australia will be, well, I'd say you'd think probably favourites, but England on home soil, as you say, Edgbaston. I had the pleasure of going to Edgbaston for the first day of the India Test match. And my brother got me a ticket in the Hollies stand, which is not a stand. If you want to sit and watch the cricket all day, it's quite difficult because there is so much going on in that stand. It's quite difficult to concentrate on the cricket, really.
I think the Eric Hollies stand is the best stand in England.
Well, I'll tell you what, fancy dress was mandatory in there. It really was.
Did you go for any fancy dress?
I did.
in again. Carvelison, fuller this time, better delivery, left outside off. Nottinghamshire 51 for 3 after 15 overs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obligatory in there, and so I was with my brother and his friend, and so we were very conservative, Grace. I have to say, we dressed as umpires, so we had umpires' coats on, and we looked very respectable. But there was some outrageous fancy dress in the Hollies stand for that day. But it was a wonderful day's cricket. It did rain. Around about lunchtime, but a wonderful inning from Panty, made 147 in no time at all, so it was a terrific day's cricket. Sean Hunt's going to carry on for Sussex from the Radcliffe Road in, bowling to the left-handed Ben Slater, who's on 27. Knots 51 for 3 as in comes Hunt and bowls, let go outside the off stump, taken by Carter, and there is no run. Martin's been in touch. He says, "Hi Adrian, great to see Ollie Robinson back. That action looks right back in the groove. 3 high-class wickets. And the Hamid dismissal was a beauty. Now averaging about 21, and he must be back in the shake-up for England. Sounds crazy given recent travails, but without all these injuries, Sussex would be knocking on the door for promotion." Well, it's funny because Dave was talking about that a bit earlier on, and Dave came down to Hove for the first game of the season. There was lots of optimism around, but Sussex have really struggled in the bowling department as in comes Hunt and bowls. Full-length delivery let go by Slater. Outside of the off-stump taken by Carter, and there is no run.
Interesting what you say about these injuries, because obviously you're missing George Garton, one of your frontline seamers, but it's good to see 2 left-arm seamers already in the attack, and it seems like Sussex have got some good ones coming through.
Yeah, and Sean Hunt came from Surrey at the beginning of last season. He's only 20 years of age, and I think he's got a nice action, Sean Hunt, and there's some more movement behind the bowler's arm. But of the young seamers, of which there are several, so there's Sean Hunt, there's Henry Crocombe, Jamie Atkins. He just does a little bit with the ball, Sean Hunt. He's in and bowls, and he hits Slater on the pads. I think that one was probably sliding down the leg side. And there is no run. Yeah, you mentioned George Garton, who's been missing for pretty much most of the season. He's got the effects of long COVID as George, which is the reason he's out of the side, and he spoke to us about it probably about a month ago now. And I guess it's one of the problems with COVID, Grace, that nobody really knows the effect of long COVID and how difficult it is. And Sussex has been really managing George's sort of progress back to the first team. And if you're listening, George, we wish you all the best. As Hunt is in and bowls, and driven nicely by Slater, but only to mid-off, fielded by Pujara. And there is no run. I don't know what the situation is in terms of yourselves. I mean, are you still taking COVID tests? I mean, how's that working, Grace?
Yeah, it was really quite strict before, with pretty much, I think we were taking 3 COVID tests a week, but I think with the changing rules and how it's going, it's tests for symptoms.
Right, okay.
And we've been fortunate enough to not have any symptoms this summer, so been pretty stress-free.
In comes Hunt and bowls, and Slater again is forward, plays to mid-wicket, fielded there by Archie Lenham, and there is no run. Archie, who was 18, where's my list? Earlier on this week, on the 23rd. What are we today? The 26th. So that was on Saturday.
Happy birthday, Archie.
Yeah, happy birthday, Archie. Happy 18th.
Big 18.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to a pub legally, you can vote. Sean Hunt running away from us, left arm over the wicket, bowls to Ben Slater, who plays very carefully to backward point, fielded there by Ollie Robinson, who comes trotting in. There is one more to Ben Slater. He goes to 28, and Knots are 52 for 3. Slater 28, James on 7. Live cricket on BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms, Grace Ballinger and Dave Bracegirdle, your commentary team here this week. The floodlight's on, Grace, but I tell you what, it is brighter now than it's been pretty much all morning.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, there's a bit of an ominous cloud to our right.
Oh, don't say that. There is. You're right, though.
Yeah, but it is certainly brighter than it was before, and I don't think there's... I'm going to check the weather forecast. I don't think there's masses of bad weather about. I mean, I only packed one jumper with me while I'm in Nottingham, so hopefully be okay. No rain forecast as Caravelis comes in, first ball the over, just pushes Slater back slightly and defended into the offside.
So those, I mean, I've no idea how ticket sales have gone for the Commonwealth Games. So I don't know how many people can be at Edgbaston at the week. I'd have thought they've probably gone quite... Because I'm not sure where is the athletics being staged? 'Cause it's...
I would have thought it would be at the Birchfield Harriers, the Alexandra Stadium, I think.
Okay, is that just outside of Birmingham?
It's literally probably about 10 minutes away from Edgbaston.
Right, okay.
It's Caravellis again. And similar to the last one, maybe slightly fuller, and Slater just gets forward a bit more convincingly. Yeah, obviously from Birmingham myself, it's nice to see the Commonwealth Games being hosted in the best city in the world.
Dave gave you a funny look then.
Yeah, he gave me a proper dirty look.
Didn't he?
Yeah, disgust.
Well,